Hello, my friends. Well, my van ended up having some issues with the black tank dump valve, okay? And I was having trouble with that before I came off the road last fall, okay? And then, of course, I didn't use it all through the winter because I had the roommate situation, and then I was at the RV park. So when I flushed it out with bleach and everything and was getting, my water back on my system and flushing tanks and all that, I started to realize that that leak had definitely gotten worse, okay? This is the location where the levers are to pull and open up those RV dump valves. So you can see how the levers go through the body. They do have to drop the tank in order to get to those valves, so it's going to be a very costly repair because of the valves themselves are $80 a piece, and then you've got the labor on top of it. The black lever was actually so hard to even pull open, and let alone try to get it closed. But even it's just like you're pulling with everything you got, and that's something different. I mean, yeah, it was hard, but it's like really difficult now, and you can tell that it is just not even closing. It was scary. So how much water was dripping into the hose. You can hear it actually going into the hose when I did that flush with the bleach. So good thing it hasn't been used for a long time. Perfect timing for them to be able to repair it, right? Good timing there. So gonna get that done. Good morning. Oh my gosh, I'm eating a lot of coffee today. It is the day to get rolling and get my RV dump valve repaired. Anyways, I'm not going to spend a lot of time videoing. I always have a hard time on that day where I have to move. And I did make the appointment at 1 because I'm not a morning person. And lately I don't sleep very well. I wake up several times, and then I'll wake up for real. Like I woke up at 4 o'clock and I couldn't get back to sleep after that point. I drank a bunch of water, and my sleeping has just not been good for a while now, and it's very frustrating, and it has nothing to do with the elements. I'm in an RV park, there's no noise, it's just all my body. So this might be pretty challenging this time when I have to get out of the RV park, what I'm going to do, because my sleep is even far worse than it was when I had to be traveling. So I don't know, one day at a time, right? But anyways, I had a friend that wanted to talk, and she said, we don't have to talk today, because I just picked up the phone just to let her know, or I called her back. I'm sorry, I should have just texted her, and I know better. From now on, I've got to do that, my friends, and just don't take offense. It's okay, let me talk to you in a day or two. I've got too much going on. But I hadn't talked to her in a while, and so I thought, well, let me just say quickly hello, letting her know I miss her, but let's get back another time. Well, no, I stayed on the phone, and it's my fault. I should have said no. So by the time I got done, I was trying to make my dinner. I was so tired. My legs get weak. They just kind of get to a point where they just don't even hold me up anymore. And I don't know when that will actually happen. So I'm trying to clean up, and that's all I could do. I couldn't even get to this cabinet that I wanted to do. So I thought, well, let me just crash, and hopefully maybe I'll get a better night's sleep, and then I can get to my cabinet first thing in the morning. So I set my alarm, and I got up at 8:30, kind of like hitting it to 9, and got up, finally got my coffee, and I believe it's almost, oh my gosh, almost 10. So as long as I get out of here and like rolling, I got to be ready to roll, get everything in the back that needs to go in the back moved around, and my my cord unhooked by 12, I should make it. It'll take just about that time to pull in. So I got to get busy. I don't want to, you know, film much because I don't have time. That's sometimes my mornings, my days. Just slow in the morning. I don't do anything real quickly. It's just not my world. I don't like to film myself like that, or, you know, abandon and go, oh, you know, and do the aches and pains. And I just don't like to film myself or anybody in pain or see anybody in pain. That's why you don't see a lot of movement stuff from me. And that's the reality of me and my channel. All right. Okay, so I just wanted to give you the update. I'm gonna get going, and I am excited to get this RV dump thing repaired. And both I had actually a little bit of the leaking out of the gray because I did rinse that out one more time last night, and sure enough, when I undid the thing, it's leaking too. So I'm so glad that I decided to do both of them. All right, so here we go. All right, so this is about a week later after getting the RV dump valves replaced, and I really applaud this place because the whole experience was amazing. They were really trying to save me money because they had the replacement valves, and at one point he took me back to the van, and you know, they had everything hooked up because they had a dump sewage drain thing there, and they had a hose connected, and they were checking it and everything, and they thought that maybe if they just greased the cable that it would be okay. And when I got there, and he goes, I think we fixed it. I think it's just needed to be greased. And I could barely pull the lever. And I'm like, well, no, it's still, you know, I can't pull it, because he knows that my body is challenged and I have to have it really easy to pull. So he said, oh, no, you know, and I said, yeah. And I said, it needs to be much easier to pull. So he says, okay, well, and I said, that's what it does, is sometimes it's okay and the next time it's hard and it's not consistent. But then, I mean, the hard was like really hard, and then of course it started to leak, so that's not good. So anyways, they did have to end up replacing the valves, and you know, that comes with this long cable because of everything being farther away from where you pull the levers. You know, there's this long cable, and they did show me, and I said, well, can you show me everything? So I got on a little dolly, and you know, with a little thing on wheels, and I was able to slide underneath, and he showed me where the black one is at and the gray one. So they are a weird angle, okay? So I'm going to show you some pictures, and hopefully it'll make sense. But the one that you're seeing kind of on the upper top part, that is to the black, and then the one that's on the lower part of the picture, that goes to the gray, which is closer to where the pull valves are at. So that's where the gray tank is. So basically it is kind of like a weird angle, and I can see how the labor would be a little bit more crazy trying to get those replaced and run that line to where the pull levers are. Okay, so I'll show you these pictures. Okay, so you could see the weird design that my van has. Crazy. So I'm glad that I got both sides fixed and have to worry about it for a while. So they did go over care of my system now that I didn't know. So one of the things that they said that I should get, and it's a drain valve lube that I could put in my system. And so basically it will help to stop sticky valves, and it's with a cocoa oil. So they suggested doing this a couple of times a year, depending how often I use the system. So I'm definitely going to be doing this for my care of my valves. And then also, well, there's a part of the cable that is shown where it comes from the back side of that compartment of there's the lever and then the cable before it goes to the valve. So that needs to be lubricated, and they gave me the name, and basically just a silicone type lube, and to definitely lube those cables or grease them, whatever you want to call it, but they need to be done several times a year. Okay, I didn't know that, so that's really important to keep that done. Now, some people thought bleaching, when I had bleached out my system, that might have done something to them, but they were leaking before. I came off the road last spring, or summer actually. Summer I started having leaking issues. I have never bleached my tanks or my system ever. I never have. And it does recommend a low percentage of bleach, and it does recommend doing that to my system periodically. I think the guy that I bought the van from might have did it once, but I'm not positive, but I think he did. And then I did it, okay, but I only did it after winter, right? And I was already having leaking problems before I went into fall and winter. I was having it in summer. I was actually getting very concerned of my leakage, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. So bleaching had nothing to do with making this worse. It was just the valves were already giving me problems long before that. So yeah, I don't know. I go by my manual. My manual says it's okay to, in fact, they encourage to use this percentage of bleach, cleaning it out, and doing that every so often. So I don't know. I know some people said that they felt that the bleach would be hard on the system, and maybe it wouldn't be if you did something like this right afterwards. So I now learned that it is important to lube those valves, and I didn't know that. I didn't do that. So I will definitely be watching that in the future to help stop sticky valves. Okay. All right. So if anybody else has any information, because I'm just learning like everybody else out there. I never pretend that I know everything. In fact, I'm always learning. I think I could be on the road for years and years and years. I'm always learning things, and I just like to share what I have learned. And not to say that one person is doing something wrong. I think everybody has their opinions out there, but I do look forward to hearing if anybody else has any other tips that you think it would be helpful for us to know on how to take care of our RV dump valve system. Definitely share it. I really would love to hear from people if you have any information to help. All right, so with that, that is what happened. Hopefully I'm good for another 20 years. Let's hope so. I don't think the van is, the whole van, well, I think the valves are going to outlast the rest of my van. We'll see, right? All right. So I love you all, and I will see you in the next video.